I'm ready for seconds. And the GT Trofeo is ready for seconds. Hey crew, I've got the key to that 24 Maserati GranTurismo Trofeo. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. The all-new GranTurismo sure looks a lot like the predecessor, and that is by design. Maserati and pretty much everyone else really loved the look of that car, so they didn't want to mess with it too much. That means up front, still got that gaping mouth grille with a Trident right in the center. Coming off the grille, over the hood are these functional vents, and Trofeo models get slightly more aggressive front bumpers with these carbon fiber pieces just on the outside of functional air curtains. Those are beneath projector LED headlights with LED DRLs and turn signals. At the side is a set of 20-inch front, 21-inch rear wheels wrapped in Pirelli P0 tires, size 265 section front and 295 at the rear. Within those are optional blue painted calipers for the 6-piston front Brembo brakes. Trofeo models get carbon fiber side skirts, and all versions get those classic 3 ports. The new car is slightly longer, wider, and with a shorter wheelbase than the predecessor, but none of that affects the silhouette, which is just as ravishing as the predecessor, with that long hood, the pronounced wheel arches, and of course the Trident on the B-pillar. At the back are thin LED taillights and turn signals beneath an optional carbon fiber lip spoiler. Trofeo models get carbon fiber pieces just on the outside of the 4 chrome exhaust outlets, and then there's a gloss black diffuser in the center. Good decision on Maserati's part not to mess with the design of the predecessor. Now my question for you is really difficult, but which looks better, the last gen or the new model? Let me know in the comments, and let's check out the interior. To open up, there's not a handle to pull, just stick your hand inside and press on the pad to release the frameless door. Looking inside at this ice-colored, full-grain leather interior, seats look so luxurious. They're power adjusting, heated as standard, and optionally ventilated. There's a Maserati tread plate in aluminum and fully aluminum pedals on the doors. It's leather all over the place in 2 tones with this matte carbon fiber trim, perforations, and then this optional Sonus Faber 19-speaker sound system. You get power adjusting and power folding door mirrors, 1-touch windows, and like the exterior, this is not a handle to pull. You just have this button to press to release the door. To open up the trunk, stick your hand inside onto the roof, hit that button, and it's power operated, bidding you access to 11 cubic feet of space, and there is a pass-through right in the center. There's a power close and lock function on the trunk lid. And a quick Easter egg for you before we hop inside. On the side of the dashboard, there's an etching that says since 1914 with that Trident badge. That's the year Maserati was founded. To get to the back seats, yes, there are back seats, lift up this tab and the seat will automatically slide forward to give you a pretty decent access point to the rear seats. Just have to duck your head on the way back, and then when you pull the seat back, it will move into the position for myself at 6 feet tall, except for the fact that it's going to notice my knees and my feet and stop and move forward a little bit. So this isn't actually my driving position. It's quite a bit further forward, and still I feel pretty darn cramped. This is really going to be for kids, but I'll tell you what, the headroom isn't terrible. So a kid really could fit back here. Not a full-size adult, not comfortably, but a kid for sure. And they do have some accommodations. You've got rear air vents, you've got some of that matte carbon fiber trim, 2 cup holders, and 2 USB ports, 1A, 1C, with a leather-topped armrest. Not terrible, just not for adults. Now in the driver's seat, I'll close up the door, listening for the thud sound. Just pretty solid, even for frameless windows. Drivers have a heated leather-wrapped steering wheel, kind of large in diameter, perforated at 9 3, feels nice in the hands. You've got a start-stop button here in blue, and then your drive mode selector dial. Beyond the wheel are these massive aluminum paddles mounted to the column. There's a large digital gauge cluster that is reconfigurable. You get a head-up display as an option, stitched leather up on the dashboard, perforated leather over on the passenger side with the Italian flag, and then the GranTurismo badge. In the center is a 12.3-inch touchscreen above an 8.8-inch screen. This setup debuted in the new Grecale SUV. Like it there, like it here, it's operating the Uconnect 5 software that's vivid, quick to respond, and has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Between the screens are your drive selections. When I first got in the Grecali, it took me so long to find those. Now, of course, I know where to look. On the secondary screen, you're mostly operating climate controls and some ambient lighting, but you can also change up this digital clock from just a clock to a compass to the brake and throttle pressure to a G meter. Just kind of a handy party trick. Beneath that, we've got matte carbon fiber trim covering some storage in the center, 2 cup holders that can actually become a third by moving this, or rather just a larger one. And then under the leather topped console is not a whole lot of storage with a key fob spot, DC outlet, and 2 USB ports, 1A, 1C. There is a digital rearview mirror with the tech package, and your visibility is compromised a little at that C-pillar, but there's standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. Headroom up front with the seat as low as it goes is really solid. You can't actually get a sunroof in the Gran Turismo, but the suede wrapped headliner is not a bad concession. In fact, this whole cabin is very sumptuous. It's extravagant. The leather is on just about every surface that doesn't have carbon fiber or real metals, and the tech is super solid. It's a good start in the Gran Turismo. Let's go see how it drives. All right, let's fire it up. Always a sucker for the button on the steering wheel to start it up. It's a blue button, not as exciting as a red button perhaps, but still cool. And your neighbors will be very thankful that the Gran Turismo no longer has the Ferrari-sourced V8, because when you start this car up in the morning, it's just more considerate. Hello, cabin crew. Thank you for joining me for this drive in the 24 Maserati Gran Turismo Trofeo. We are going to select our drive mode with this dial, and got Comfort, GT, Sport, and Corsa. We'll start things off as we do in Comfort mode. And then to go into reverse, hit this button here, and that brings up a medium to high resolution camera system. You got a bird's eye view off to the left with a wide angle rear shot, front angle, and front wide. Go to that rear wide shot. Very helpful. And plop it into drive. And away we go. Let's kick things off with the world famous horn test. That's a good horn. I like it. It's not crass, but it will get someone's attention. Good. Turn signal sound. Well, that just sounds like your typical Stellantis signal. Not as refined as it feel like it should be in a Maserati product. The powertrain in the Gran Turismo, whether it's the Modena or this Trofeo model, not the fully electric version, the Folgore, I think it's called, that's coming soon. But both the Modena and the Trofeo have a 3.0 liter twin-turbocharged V6 that's shared with the Maserati MC20. It's called the Nettuno engine. It's like translates to Neptune, which makes sense. Neptune carries a Trident, and Maserati has the Trident as their brand logo. And I love the name. And I like the powertrain. Even in the GT mode, with 542 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque at your disposal, routed through a ZF-sourced 8-speed automatic gearbox and sent to all 4 tires now. All-wheel drive is standard on the new Gran Turismo, whereas the previous version didn't even have it as an option. The power delivery is just silky. Peak torque develops around 3,000 RPM, and that seems kind of high for a twin-turbo motor, but it doesn't mean that the engine is just dead beneath that. It's just gently building, but you have plenty of momentum at your disposal. And this transmission is fantastic. This unit, it's so difficult to discern the gear changes. They're just happening so gently in the background, especially in the Comfort or GT modes. You get up to speed, but you just enjoy it. And in these modes, look at that, beautiful. In these modes, GT or Comfort, the engine note is subdued, you're relaxed, seat comfort is solid, They are a little firm. Good adjustability for these seats, including the adjustments you can make to the power adjusting steering column. It's doing the GT thing very well so far. Now let's see about the turning radius. Wheel fully cranked. That's pretty wide. There was more than one occasion that I had to multi-point turn something I could have sworn we'd get in just one go. 4-driven wheels does tend to push out the turning circle. This one's just, it's pretty wide. The ride comfort, sort of a mixed bag. We've got adaptive dampers with air springs. And while the dampening is decent, you do hear the road imperfections come in through to the cabin. And then when you're going over particularly rough bumps, you do get these pulses in through to your seat. That sort of plays at odds with the other grand touring genteelness of the driving experience in the new GT. It's not bad, it's just not as good as some of the competitors. Now we need to see about the Trofeo part of the name. See how quick it is to 60. And for that demonstration, I've got my race box set up here to record. I'll move the drive mode into Corsa, which unlocks launch control. To activate that, you're going to pull on the right paddle once, and then a second time to confirm. Hold your foot on the brake, pin the throttle, let go with the brake. Here we go. So holding the brake, right on the pedal once, twice to confirm, pin the throttle, let go. Oh my. And there's 60 in 3.5 seconds out of the hole in a hurry. That's where the all-wheel drive system comes in so handy, that instant shove off the line. Ooh, look at that GT350. Replica? Original? Either way, it's awesome. But that's just the tip of the iceberg in the Gran Turismo Trofeo, because when you put your foot down, good heavens, it is so feisty. And once again, I've got to heap some praise on this transmission for its willingness and readiness to downshift in Corsa, just to put you in the meat of the power. Good heavens, and boy, is there power. This car feels like it's worth every bit of its 542 horsepower. And to use manual mode, because I cannot wait. These giant aluminum paddles, so satisfying. The click and the promptness of the shift. Down and up. Oh my gosh. I'm such a tactile person. This is made for me. And the engine note is not bad either. Yeah, it's not as raucous as the V8 in the predecessor, but it's still a savory tune. Oh, that's quite good. That's quite fast. But how's the Trofeo going to handle full ABS braking and a curve? We're going to find that out in Corsa mode with stability control switched off. I'm going to carry some momentum into this. ABS braking, pedal feels very wooden. Not a lot of travel there. Nice quick turn, all-wheel drive system gives us that stability. Lift off brings the rear end around, and limited slip differential shoves us out of the hole. Woo! I'm ready for seconds. And the GT Trofeo is ready for seconds. That was spectacular. Look, this car is not light. It's over 4,000 pounds, like into the mid 4,000 pound range. So you feel the weight, but the all-wheel drive grip and the ELSD in the back end, just putting that power down, giving you the shove out of the corner, is awesome. And the steering, I gotta take it out of Corsa. You're not gonna be able to hear me over that loud exhaust, and the steering is not abounding in feedback, but it's a quick turn in, and the resistance built up in the corner is just enough communication to tell me, hey, you do have that grip from the all-wheel drive system, and that all-wheel drive system doesn't want to just push the nose. It is a rear bias system, and you feel that, and that's the driving dynamics that put the smile on your face as a driver. Man, I just didn't anticipate this. Maybe it's because the predecessor was, yes, great in a straight line, made a great noise, but didn't have a whole lot going on in terms of handling finesse. But this new car, this new platform for Maserati, and this Nettuno motor, and this great ZF 8-speed gearbox, just drives this message home of, yes, this is a true performance car. And that speaks my language. Now, let's go into the GT drive mode, and I'll quiet up here. We're going to listen for the NVH level at highway speeds. We went over a couple different road surface changes there, and between each new surface there was a bump in the road, and we definitely heard that. And on the louder road surface we were getting a lot of tire noise, and so while the wind noise is really suppressed, the dual pane glass is definitely helping with that. Tire noise is a factor here, and that's part of a GT needing to be quiet on all road surfaces. I think Maserati has some work to be done to better insulate the wheel wells of this car, because just hearing that is not appealing, not pleasing to the ears. Now I am going to activate the adaptive cruise control system and the steering assistance that comes along with it, and see how it takes the curve here. It's not really a hands-free function, just demonstrating. It's plotting the curve very well, staying in the center. It's very handy to have these features. Are they worth the $8,000 extra you got to pay for them? Depends what your road trip or commute's going to look like, but nice to have. Now feels like an appropriate time for the MilesPerHr word of the day, which for the 24 Maserati GranTurismo Trofeo is alluring, meaning strongly attractive or enticing. This is a sensual car, from the ravishing exterior to the well-manicured and inviting interior, to the tactility of the paddles when you engage them, to the driving experience when you push the car. It really just sucks you into it. Everything except for the tire noise is alluring. Well, that and perhaps the price tag. I'm getting ahead of myself. First, the top speed and fuel economy. Top speed for the GranTurismo Trofeo is 199 miles per hour. Couldn't get that last 1 miles per hour to pull us over to 200. The fuel economy is 20 mpg in the city, 27 on the highway, and 23 combined. That is outstanding for this segment. The starting figure for the Modena version, I don't know how you say it, is $175,000. The Trofeo model is $206,000, and this one, as tested, is $235,000. As far as competitors go in this sports car / GT segment, I'll bring in something that's less expensive and two offerings that are more expensive. The BMW M8 Coupe, that's $136,000 to start. It makes 617 horsepower, gets to 62.7 seconds, has a top speed of 189 miles per hour, and fuel economy of 17 combined. Or there's the Bentley Continental GT V8 that starts at $238,000. It makes 542 horsepower for that. It gets to 60 in 3.5 seconds, has a top speed of 198 miles per hour, and fuel economy of 16 combined. Or there's the new Aston Martin DB12 that starts at $248,000. It makes 671 horsepower, gets to 60 in 3.5 seconds, has a top speed of 202 miles per hour, and fuel economy of 17 combined. Now, going at it one by one, Yes, the M8 is definitely less expensive, and it would run circles around this car on a track. It's so quick. It's also very light on the GT stuff. It's not quiet, it's very brittle riding, and it doesn't really look nearly as alluring as this or even the Aston Martin DB12. So I would say this is probably worth the extra money if you have it over the M8. The Continental GT is totally the other side of the equation. It is not that fun to hustle through corners, but it's certainly the quietest riding and the most compliant of the vehicles I've mentioned. So if you're looking for a more traditional GT car, something that just covers a ton of ground quietly and comfortably, that's the one for you. For me, I'm looking for something that's really just a wonderful blend of all of those attributes: the comfort, the style, the power, and the handling pedigree. And that's going to be the Aston Martin DB12. Not having actually driven the DB12 yet, but knowing the DB11, both in V8 and V12 forms, to be just sensational driving cars that have this extra panache that's on the level of a Bentley and above something like a Maserati. That's worth that extra money. Now I say that, but the Gran Turismo, if you don't have Aston Martin money, which, I mean, if you add any options to that DB12, it's going to be a high $200,000 to low $300,000 car, is really just a sweet spot for its price point. The styling, the technology, the dynamics, this new Gran Turismo really feels like a more complete performance luxury product than its predecessor. And that's why I think Maserati has a win on their hands. Which would you guys choose? Would you have the new Gran Turismo in Modena or in Trofeo form? Would you have the Bentley Continental GT? Would you have the BMW M8 and put up with the brittle ride for incredible driving dynamics? Or would you have the Aston Martin DB12 like me? Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys have enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to get notified. And I will see you again next time.